week. Starting Monday at 10 on Nat Geo Wild.
You'll have 45 minutes with this test.
Getting through college is never easy.
Every time, you get the sweaty palms, anxieties before a test.
But in Ironwood State Prison, it's even harder.
This is a violent environment, and anything can happen.
Can the students stay out of trouble long enough to graduate?
I mean, it's a powder keg. It's a perfect place for something to erupt.
School of Hard Knocks, New America's Hardest Prisons, Wednesday from 9 on National Geographic Channel.
With a little bit of crispy wafer, creamy hazelnut and smooth chocolate. Bueno is a little bit of what you fancy. Bueno, a little bit of what you fancy.
So this is number 7's famous Protect and Perfect range.
Well, that's 2 of them. There are actually 4.
And if I use all 4 together, how young will I look then?
Very funny.
So I just put them on and ta-da!
No, you treat your skin with the serum, then apply the day cream.
And what if I put them on the other way around? Do I get older?
No, you always use the serum first. Think of it like putting on your underwear before your dress.
I wondered where I was going wrong. I can have these, right?
New number 7 Protect and Perfect range for younger looking skin. We are? Can I take your coat?
Just a coffee.
If only everything was as quick as Rustler's. Rustler's, naught to tasty in 70 seconds.
There is one sale that gives you it all, but it ends Sunday. Unmissable sofas for under £400. Designer leather sofas lower than half price. Corner units for less than you can imagine. You get 4 years free credit, and if you want your sofa payment free for a year, you've got it. Want it all? You'll get it all in the DFS sale, but it ends Sunday.
Delicious sweet chili flavour Ryvita Minis. You have to respect their authentic taste. Sweet chili flavour Ryvita Minis. Big taste, mini waste.
I love Ryvita sesame seed crisp bread with jam and banana, even more than Louis Kemsley.
Britain loves Ryvita.
You're watching Nat Geo Wild, the natural home of National Geographic wildlife.
Macro gladiators, some of nature's smallest but toughest critters. They fight hard and they fight to the death. Enter a world of predator and prey, where sophisticated weapons, split-second reactions, and unrivaled cunning all play a part. This is the battlefield of the macro gladiators. An arena where miniature warriors only survive by being built for the kill. A war has been raging since the dawn of time. A 4 billion year battle between nature's smallest soldiers, the macro gladiators. From bacteria to bugs, our specialist macro photography techniques will reveal that these tiny warriors are everywhere. What they lack in size, they make up for in numbers. Together, in their legions, they are some of the most abundant, violent, and aggressive creatures on Earth. Ants, an army of soldiers that isn't afraid to wage war against anything it meets. An army of distinct units, but units that work together like the cells of a single body. Ants can be found almost everywhere on Earth. Gathered together, they would weigh about as much as all the people on Earth. Collectively, some ants can function like an animal in its own right, a superorganism, built for the kill. These superorganisms have humble beginnings among animals like this, the bulldog ants. Bulldogs are amongst the fiercest of all ants. They can afford to be. At nearly 4 centimeters long, they're built like giant wasps and armed with deadly stings. And huge jaws to rip through flesh. Amongst macro-gladiators, they're a frighteningly efficient killer. Knowing they're virtually invincible, these individuals will hunt alone. Their secret is their strength. Being stronger than other ants, they haven't needed to change their primitive design. It's simply a case of, don't mess with me. Bulldog ant larvae are primitive too, more like giant maggots than ants. But if it works, don't fix it. The maggot-like grubs feed directly on the spoils of war. Adult bulldogs use their razor-sharp jaws to rip through the caterpillar's hard skin and expose jelly-like flesh. A feast for hungry larvae. The Queen is commander-in-chief of this army. Despite the fact that she's no bigger than the workers, hers is a unique role. Only she can produce fertile eggs. Workers will tend to the eggs and rear the grubs that hatch from them. Every army needs good communications. Bulldog ants use pheromones, a kind of chemical scent. And yet social interactions between inhabitants of the nest are not well developed. Bulldog ants hunt alone, and their colonies rarely exceed 200 members. By contrast, weaver ants are pack hunters. But just like the bulldog ants, weavers also use chemical weapons. Theirs is an acid spray gun fired straight from their body that can kill some other insects. But the warlords of the ant world, the supreme pack hunters, are the army ants. Millions form vast superorganisms up to 1.6 kilometers in length, again coordinated by pheromone scent. Few animals could survive in this supreme predator for the kill. Beetles, spiders and bugs may be bigger than an individual ant, but they have no defense against this machine. In the Highlands of Scotland, you can find macro-gladiators almost on a par with the army ants, wood ants. Their colonies are comparatively small, but like army ants, scent is used for communication, and working together, the wood ants can devour prey much larger than themselves. And like the weaver ants, they use chemical weapons. Formic acid sprayed onto the skin of their prey. This pine beauty moth caterpillar is squirming with pain, but its death throes will not last long. But wood ants aren't invincible. They fall victim to a killer so sinister, it could star in a Hollywood horror film. Clytra beetles usually lay their eggs near to wood ants' nests, but this one is bang on target. It's a time bomb, primed to explode dead on cue. The ants take the egg into their nest as prey. Little do they realize it's a Trojan horse. The Clytra grub hatches in the nerve center of the wood ant's operations, gorging at will on an endless supply of larvae. The macro foes of ants come in many disguises. One of the most impressive is a caterpillar whose leathery skin provides a bite-proof hide. It's an armored tank against which the ants have no defense. No chemical weapons, brute strength or cunning can save them now. Having hatched from an egg on a nearby tree, the caterpillar has penetrated the ant stronghold with no hesitation. The ant's fortress of leaves becomes a slaughterhouse. Once inside, the caterpillar devours both eggs and larvae. Food for life and no shopping needed. The ants attempt to save their grubs, but there's nothing they can do. Like shooting fish in a barrel, the caterpillar can take what it wants. No matter how hard they try, the ants can't stop the onslaught from this invincible killer. And as the ants rear more and more larvae, the leather-plated caterpillar may consume generations in each sitting. But there comes a time when the caterpillar must pupate. When it must swap its leathery armor for the soft skin of an adult butterfly. Surely now the tables will turn against it. No. Unlike almost any other butterfly, it pupates within the safety of its armored skin. And when the fragile butterfly finally emerges, it's covered with scales so slippery that the ants can't get a hold. At the same time, powder from the butterfly's limbs seems to afford further protection. There's no way the ants can stop the butterfly from escaping. It will lay more eggs, and the cycle of death will continue. Next on Built for the Kill, gladiator beetles built like tanks, spiders that lay deadly traps, and gruesome critters that like their meat still kicking.
Sunday afternoons on Wild are not for the faint-hearted. This week we've dedicated 5 hours of incredible footage to the bad, the worse, and the very ugly of the animal kingdom. The Wild Bunch. This Sunday we go to the extreme and uncover some real-life monsters. We find the biggest snake, some larger-than-life crocodiles, and even delve into the mystery of the world's biggest pig, Hogzilla. The Wild Bunch Extreme. Sunday from 1 p.m. on Nat Geo Wild.
On DVD, from the acclaimed director of A History of Violence, it's pure, cold-blooded brilliance.
Stay away from people like me.
Eastern Promises, on DVD Monday.
Every woman knows it's impossible to have too much of a good thing. That's why Nivea has now put SPF 15 and twice the coenzyme Q10 into the world's favorite anti-wrinkle cream. Nivea Visage Q10 Plus. Because beauty is giving more.
The new Renault Twingo. Serious fun. From £7,500.
Showtime.
The new fragrance by Kylie Minogue.
We've also put double the coenzyme Q10 into our best-selling hand cream, Nivea Hand Q10 Plus, for hands that won't reveal your age.
Always ensure you're in the best spot. Stake your claim to the most comfortable position. But most importantly, insist solely on the delicious taste of gourmet pearl. Delectable mini fillets with salmon and whole shrimps. Quite simply, it's the ultimate pleasure. Gourmet, how can you possibly resist?
Our Earth is in danger. Global temperatures have risen by nearly 1 degree, and the rate of change is accelerating. By the end of the century, some experts say temperatures could rise by 6 degrees. Environmental destruction, social chaos, a world we would not recognize. 6 degrees could change the world. It's a terrifying vision of what our future could be. Sunday at 7 on National Geographic Channel.
Nearly 1 in 3 animal species is a beetle. Tank-like macro-gladiators, they're at home almost anywhere on Earth. And if you're their prey, there's a nightmare coming. Don't even try to run from a tank that can fly. And the ultimate insect tank is the stag beetle. Rock-solid armor plating and massive jaws make this male a ferocious fighter. But this awesome armory isn't for catching prey. These feisty macro-gladiators use it when they fight for a mate. The female looks on as the sumo warriors battle it out, their strength deciding who wins the right to reproduce. But where brute strength is the key to toppling your opponent, it's not the only way to get a date. Some males know they've got no chance against tougher, battle-hardened gladiators. They use cunning, sneaking in to mate with the female whilst the warriors are preoccupied by their battle. Once mated, the female leaves, fertilized by the sneaky male. The tough guys have missed out, but they'll find out too late. Their battle continues. From tanks to submarines, meet the diving beetle. The diving beetle breeds using a bubble of air trapped beneath its wings, a scuba kit for bugs. Its eyes can see below the water, and its legs have long hairs which flatten out to act as paddles. But diving beetles don't have it all their own way. Fish can gobble up these macro-gladiators in one swift bite. Not to be defeated, the beetles have developed a chemical defense. Biting into a diving beetle is a distasteful experience a fish won't want to repeat. And fish aren't stupid. They'll remember the taste. The next time this fish tries to eat a diving beetle, it'll spit it out. A case of once bitten, more than twice shy. Even if a single diving beetle were to become a casualty of this war, it can rest in peace knowing its killer is unlikely to kill its kind again. This is the front line of evolution. Individuals might die, but the species thrives. Now meet a tank that hunts like a shark. The whirligig beetle may be one of the smallest pond dwellers, but it's also one of the most efficient killers. Their secret weapons are their eyes, split into 2 lobes to search the skies and the depths. Like a shark on the prowl, they home in for the kill, guided by tiny vibrations in the water. If there's an animal in distress, they'll be the first on the scene. Ultimately, the victim, like this hoverfly, is consumed. Danger from above causes the whirligigs to rapidly dive for cover, dragging bubbles of air down with them through which they can breathe. But these bubbles of life can become bubbles of death. If the beetle stops swimming and clings to vegetation, the bubble can float it back to the surface where predators await. As a last defense, whirligigs are also poisonous. There's always one last card to be played in this game of survival. If there was such a thing as a typical beetle, for many of us this would be it, the ladybird. We admire their colourful bodies. They're even thought to be a lucky omen. But what many of us don't realise is that they're also formidable killers. It takes less than 5 days for ladybird eggs to hatch into voracious assassins. The larvae spread out in search of greenfly or aphids, which is why they're known as the gardener's friends. When a larva catches an aphid, it latches on with pincer-like jaws and sucks its life away. After 4 weeks of frenzied feeding, the ladybird larva pupates into an adult. A killer just as active, just as deadly, just as built for the kill. The adults and grubs hunt side by side, decimating their prey. Unlike their offspring, adult ladybirds don't suck out the body juice of their prey. They take their time at the banquet, crunching through the whole animal, making sure none goes to waste. They take their time when it comes to mating too, and the male ladybird is a sly customer. Although sperm is transferred in a matter of minutes, he stays in position for much longer, making sure that no other male gets to mate and that the female's offspring will be his own. Throughout its life, a ladybird consumes up to 5,000 aphids. And as each female can produce 1,500 young, it's no surprise that they're a welcome sight to gardeners, but an aphid's worst enemy. Aphids and greenfly nymphs are ripe pickings throughout the garden, and many species feed on them at some stage of their life. But who would suspect that such an elegant vegetarian as the hoverfly enters the world as one of nature's greediest meat-eaters? While the adults feed on nectar and pollinate the flowers in the garden, the hoverfly grub is something out of science fiction. Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the beautiful hoverfly is sometimes a monster. Hoverfly larvae move through the garden, crunching and sucking their way through as many aphids as they can find. As winter approaches, life starts to get tough in the garden. Ladybirds wrap themselves in leaves and hibernate. Another killer overwinters at the bottom of a deep hole, ready to emerge as an adult next spring. It's a highly sprung assassin with an invincible armory. The tiger beetle. Fast legs, sharp eyes, large slashing jaws. The tiger beetle is built to chase, catch, slash, and consume. Ants are disemboweled using a lethal combination of speed and power. Even a soldier beetle can't win this war. He'll fight for his life and like any macro gladiator, won't give up until the bitter end. But there comes a time when even a soldier beetle can fight no more. The tiger beetle emerges in spring not just to kill, but also to mate. But the males have a problem. Competition for females is fierce. So once the male has mounted, he holds on tight to discourage other would-be suitors. And when mating is over, he'll have to run for his life. The female could eat him. Eggs are laid in well-drained sandy soil, light enough to dig. But the laying of eggs is a dangerous time. A monster of giant proportions is lurking in the undergrowth. The common toad. In its larval form, the tiger beetle hides in a burrow, quickly pouncing on passing prey, seizing it and dragging it down with massive jaws. The larva has hooks on the side of its body that anchor it against the sides of the burrow. And like the adult, it's a vicious killer. Foraging ants are the most common victims. Even the armor of an adult two-spot ladybird can't offer protection from these killer jaws. But the larger seven-spot species is too big to handle. The beetle's jaws lose their grip like chopsticks on a marble. Many insects use traps to catch their prey, and there are a couple of ant killers who are masters of their art. You can't see them, but killer jaws lie at the bottom of these pits of death. The worm lion is the larvae of a fly, and it uses an ingeniously designed trap. Its conical shape is dug in loose, dry sand. The excavation of the worm lion pit is best seen at high speed. The pit is dug with geometric precision. If an ant walks onto the slope, its weight sends the sand cascading in a deadly avalanche. The worm throws coils around its victim. Game over. To ensure that victims can't escape, its mouth is armed with a pair of hooks that inject poisonous saliva. But the worm lion is blind and legless. It must wait for prey to come within reach. Several attempts may be needed before the worm lion can get a grip and drive home its venom. The battle continues, but struggle as it might, the ant's fate was sealed long ago. Sucked dry, the empty husk is catapulted from the pit. And the trap is set again. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and another insect digs a trap of uncanny similarity. This larva is known as an antlion, or doodlebug. Like the worm lion, few can escape from the clutches of this killer. No macro gladiator could be scarier than the killer with 8 legs. All spiders are meat-eaters. Everything about them says they're a fine-tuned hunter built for the kill. Gruesome dagger-like fangs inject flesh-melting venom right into their victim's body. Fine hairs sense even the smallest disturbance. It's time to be afraid. Many spiders are greatly skilled in the laying of traps. To most of us, The word spider immediately brings to mind a web. Lines radiate from a hub where the spider waits for prey to fall victim. There's a world of variation in web design that involves camouflage, stealth, strength. Coming up in Built for the Kill, deadly spiders and the macro gladiators who prefer their meat rare.
Shadows of the deep, stealthy hunters, indiscriminate killers. Or is there more to sharks than meets the eye? A week exploring a world few dare to go for a glimpse of this infamous creature. Spend 5 nights outside the cage and find out what makes sharks kings of the ocean. Shark Week, starting Monday at 10 on Nat Geo Wild.
With a little bit of crispy wafer, creamy hazelnut, and smooth chocolate. Bueno is a little bit of what you fancy. Bueno, a little bit of what you fancy.
Who can give you great deals on car insurance? Norwich Union Direct can, with up to £75 cash back if you have 3 or more years no claims, and with up to 10% off when you buy online. Norwich Union Direct. Call us now on 0800 888 777.
There is one sale that gives you it all, but it ends Sunday. Leather corner units lower than half price. Unmissable sofas for £299. And the latest lounger sofas for less than you can imagine. You get 4 years free credit, and if you want your sofa payment free for a year, you've got it. Want it all? You'll get it all in the DFS sale, but it ends Sunday.
There's more to life than making films. Campaigning to protect the environment. Finding time for myself. But you've still got to keep up. It's the same for my skin.
Vitalift Double Lifting Moisturizer from L'Oreal Men Expert. In one step, wrinkles appear reduced, skin feels tautened. Vitalift from L'Oreal Men Expert.
The future of your skin is in your hands. You're worth it.
Where's the loo? I'm sure it was round here. Oh, I'm bursting.
Compared to ordinary cat litter, cat sand is 3 times more effective against odour. So even sensitive noses will need some help. Cat sand absorbs before odour can develop.
With our latest jug systems, enjoying the natural taste of Brita filtered water is now easier than ever. For even less hardness, less chlorine and fewer impurities. For the best ever Brita filtered water, at just 4p a litre. Make Brita your source at home.
So, there's a number 7 Protect and Perfect serum and a day, night and eye cream.
New number 7 Protect and Perfect range.
Blackheads are so hard to get rid of. Here's my solution against blackheads. Neutrogena Visibly Clear Blackhead Scrub with microbeads cleans down into pores to help eliminate blackheads. It's goodbye to blackheads. Visibly Clear Blackhead Scrub from Neutrogena.
Go online now to discover free Embrace Life experiences.
Look Fashion Update. 109 bags you've gotta have, and Girls Aloud give Cheryl an ultimatum. Get this week's look out now.
To understand why spiders first built their webs, we can visit the nursery web spiders of Europe. There, the male and female hunt by stealth. The male is smaller than the female, and only he possesses palps modified to deliver sperm when mating. Like many spiders, he runs the risk of being eaten by the female if he gets too close. So before approaching the female, males of this species prepare a peace offering. A gift of a food parcel. The parcel also comes in useful as a shield. If all goes to plan, he gives his present to the female and then swivels round head to tail. He then inflates his palps, preparing to expel his sperm. Once mated, the male must escape without being eaten. But some are masters of the art, even managing to grab their gift back on their way out of the door. The female uses silk to protect her eggs from predators. She'll carry the eggs with her as they develop. Just before the spider babies emerge, their mother spins a protective tent around them, hence their name, nursery web spiders. The tent is there for the protection of the spiderlings, but it may have other uses. By trapping unfortunate passers-by, a spider's web is born. There are many different types of web. Sheet web spiders often feed on grasshoppers. Their silken trap is almost identical to the nursery web, except that it has a funnel in the middle, where the spider sits on a tightly woven platform. Spiders seem to be able to hear prey through their legs. The grasshopper will be attacked before it's entangled. It will be finished off with venom so quick-acting that this spider has no need to wrap its catch in silk. The web also acts as a useful walkway across the spider's backyard. The next level of complexity in spider web design involves placing a series of guy ropes above the sheet trap. Shaking the web causes prey to fall within reach of this money spider's fangs. And it bites through the silk to inject its venom. The bulk and armor plating of a ladybird, however, proved too much of a challenge for the money spider. Like the money spider, the comb-foot spider spins a platform and a series of guy ropes. But this time, the guy ropes are coated in sticky glue and attached to the ground like tripwires. Some species of comb-foot spider feed on ants. When the tripwire is touched, the powerful glue seals the ant's fate. Now, just like a fisherman, the spider can reel in its catch towards fangs armed as ever with deadly venom. The ant is wrapped in a silk coffin to be eaten later. One species of comb-foot spider takes tripwires to the extreme, and it's deadly to both man and beast, the unmistakable markings of the Black Widow. Again, strands of glue-laden silk are attached to the ground below the Black Widow's web. The glue is strong enough to hold fast any creature unfortunate enough to stumble into the tripwires. The spider watches patiently as its prey struggles, but this only makes things worse as it gradually becomes more and more entwined. Even for a scorpion, there's no escape. We may be scared of scorpions, but they're lunch to the black widow spider. First, the spider immobilizes the scorpion's sting. She does this by wrapping it in strands of silk. It would be fatal to the spider if it were stung. With the sting out of the way, the spider can inject venom some 15 times more potent than a rattlesnake's safely into the scorpion's tail. The scorpion may be trussed in silk, but until the venom takes hold, the spider plays it safe. Once dead, it will be consumed at leisure. The design of the traditional orb web has evolved from simple sheet traps like those of the black widow and money spider. It probably started as a means of covering the largest area with the smallest volume of silk. Few species do this better than the laceweb spider. Tripwires again run from the hub, but not to the ground. Instead, they're attached to nearby shrubs. The spider detects approaching prey via vibrations in the wires, and globs of glue are again used to immobilize it. Once caught, prey may be wrapped in a cocoon for eating later. She's a prudent housekeeper, using many different types of silk for many different purposes. For example, the silk used to store prey is different from that used to trap it, and is produced using a different combination of the spider's 7 silk glands. Take the lace web design, turn it on its side, and you have what many of us think of as the classic spider's web. This is the traditional orb web trap of the garden spider, a fisherman of the air. The web is invisible to insects, and once they hit it, glue on the strands ensnares them. To stop spiders from sticking to their own traps, their feet are coated with a lubricating oil. Like the laceweb spider, the orb web spider wraps many strands of tough silk around its prey, immobilizing it and keeping its deadly sting away from the spider's soft flesh. Only when it's safe will the spider come close enough to deliver its killer bite. The wasp is carried back to the spider's lair to be eaten. The orb web is a highly successful trap. So, how is it made? First, radial lines are laid from the hub to attachment points nearby. A temporary spiral is then spun out from the center to brace the radial design. This will be removed as a main spiral of sticky strands is built. It's easier to understand the process when we see it speeded up. It takes the spider less than 1 hour to build its entire web. The orb webs of spiders make hugely successful traps, and they can be huge in size too. Some are so large and so strong, they're even used as fishing nets by the people of New Guinea. But there is a downside to the orb web design. It takes a lot of energy to build a web, and they're often destroyed by wind or passing animals. They're as invisible to birds as they are to insects, and one hit from a bird can destroy an entire hour's work. So some spiders avoid bird strikes by laying a structure known as a stabilimentum. This makes the web visible to birds. Several species of orb web spiders use a stabilimentum. And sitting in the middle of your web may also help make it more visible. But there's a problem with drawing attention to your web. Some spiders hunt other spiders. The robber spider is one. It has a taste for spider flesh. The simplest of webs is an effective trap, but some species have made extraordinary adaptations to this basic design. Some even carry their webs with them. The Australian netcaster is one such spider. It's at the cutting edge of the critter arms race. The web structure and spinning technique reveal that the spider is descended from orb-weaving ancestors. First, it forms the guy ropes of a conventional orb web. Then it spins a hexagonal-shaped net clasped between its feet. This net will be cast at passing insects. But take a look at the sides of the net. You'll see that it still retains guy ropes fastened to the ground to help stabilize the net as it's cast. The netcaster has outstanding night vision. Its eyes can concentrate low levels of light better than a cat or even an owl. The spider lies in wait above walkways that it knows animals, like ants or wasps, will use. To be doubly sure of its aim, before setting its trap, the net-casting spider deposits small white specks of feces along the walkway. These act as markers. The trap is sprung, ready to be fired again and again and again. One group of spiders, the bowler spiders, have no use for guy ropes. Instead, they use a missile net. A single strand of very strong silk is thrown around and around in the night air. At the end of the strand, or bolus as it's known, is a glob of glue that can stick to the prey. The glob also contains sex pheromones, the scent of a female moth. It's a perfume that attracts the male moth to within reach of the spider's lasso. The pheromone trap is so successful that 90% of the spider's prey consists of just 2 species of moth. The bowler spider consumes its lasso along with its prey. It's a silk recycler. Few macro gladiators will give you more nightmares than those that consume their prey alive. Even the most developed forms of defense can be rendered useless. The wasp Ammophila goes to great lengths to feed her young, storing live caterpillars for them in a sandy burrow. She stings her prey accurately behind the head to paralyze it without killing it. Several caterpillars will be buried alive in the one nest. Then she lays just one egg before sealing the entrance to the chamber. The wasp vibrates the stones into place by vigorously shaking her body. It's like a wasp jackhammer. Ammophila will make several nests throughout the breeding season. Later on, when caterpillar prey becomes scarce, competition leads to fights between rival wasps. At some point, the fight must end, and the wasps go hunting again. Many wasps around the world are primitive like Ammophila and follow a similar, solitary way of life. Prey differs and the way in which it's hunted, but the pattern of their lives is very much the same. Whether they hunt flies, grasshoppers or spiders, these solitary wasps leave an egg and a supply of food underground and ultimately depart to die. Keep watching Built for the Kill to see nightmare creatures that devour their prey from within.
Call the police!
Get your hands off me, mate. Otherwise we'll call the police.
These are the Animal Inspectors. A brand new series on Nat Geo Wild follows Auckland's best animal rescue force. Working round the clock, the animal welfare team work hard to save all kinds of animals from harm.
Here you go, like. I wish we could save every single one of them, but it's just not possible.
Animal Inspectors, weeknights at 8:30 on Nat Geo Wild.
Instead of big stores, we have a big new catalogue packed with thousands of little prices. Right now, this JVC 32-inch digital LCD TV is under £400. And you can get this Xbox 360 for under £240, plus this 5-game pack free. Pick up your catalogue today. Don't shop for it, Argos it.
On DVD Monday, the Russian underworld.
I decide what's right.
Will rise to the surface, and all hell will break loose.
She was just a child.
From the acclaimed director of A History of Violence, it's pure, cold-blooded brilliance.
Stay away from people like me.
Eastern Promises on DVD Monday.
Right now, bedwetting should be the last thing on your mind. New Dry Night Sleep Shorts keep your child feeling dry and confident, so you can both relax into a good night's sleep. Look for Dry Night's new sleep shorts and original pyjama pants for boys and girls. Dry Nights, lighten the night.
Whilst many egg chambers are simple, the mud dauber wasp builds something much more complex. Once built, she places just one egg into each cell of the nest, along with enough prey, paralyzed by her sting, to last the grub through its development. The mud dauber wasp goes to great lengths to protect her young, providing it with a safe place to grow up and a supply of fresh food to last it to maturity. Many parasitic flies and wasps lay their eggs on what is often the safest home of all, a living body. Sometimes, the gentlest touch is the touch of death. The eggs hatch and the larvae develop on the caterpillar with lethal results. The pupa may look healthy, but in reality, it's being consumed from within. Other wasps bore holes into the chrysalis stage of butterflies. Once again, larvae grow inside the chrysalis and feed on their live prey. Its fate is sealed, and it will never emerge as a beautiful butterfly. The wasp larvae drops to the ground to pupate and repeat the cycle again. Some wasps are so small that many different individuals will lay eggs within the same caterpillar. The eggs lie dormant until it's time for the caterpillar to pupate. This is the signal for the eggs to divide and hatch. Each egg will produce up to 2,000 individual wasp grubs, each one eager to feast on living flesh. The pupal case protects the developing wasp larvae from danger in the same way that it would the butterfly. But while camouflage protects the case from the outside, the butterfly is being devoured from within. So it won't be a butterfly that emerges from this pupa, but a new generation of wasps. Each female wasp that emerges is equipped with a full complement of eggs. The first thing she does is mate, before disappearing into the forest in search of the next generation of unfortunate caterpillar victims. It's the stuff nightmares are made of. Killers that consume their prey from within and while it's still alive. Since life first appeared on Earth, a war has been raging out of control. Macro gladiators are everywhere. Take a look around you. You're surrounded by legions of the most abundant, violent, and aggressive creatures on Earth. What they lack in size, they make up for in numbers. They're armies of billions, built for the kill.
Sunday afternoons on Wild are not for the faint-hearted. This week we've dedicated 5 hours of incredible footage to the bad, the worse, and the very ugly of the animal kingdom. The Wild Bunch. This Sunday we go to the extreme and uncover some real-life monsters. We find the biggest snake, some larger-than-life crocodiles, and even delve into the mystery of the world's biggest pig, Hogzilla. The Wild Bunch Extreme, Sunday from 1 p.m. on Nat Geo Wild.
Being overweight can have deadly consequences. But causing an airliner to crash should not be one of them. A brand new series of air crash investigation examines a fatal crash where obesity played a crucial part. And we ask the question, are people getting too fat to fly? Brand new air crash investigation, Dead Weight. Coming soon on National Geographic Channel.
War. How can anyone comprehend mankind's most horrific invention? The power, the weapons, the people, the horror. The Century of Warfare DVD collection explores the dark forces of war that have shaped the world we live in. This is the most comprehensive visual record ever assembled of 20th century conflicts and battles, brought to life by rare combat footage unlike anything you've ever seen before. Now Time Life brings you the Century of Warfare World War II DVD set, and it's yours to preview at home absolutely free for 14 days. This fascinating 3 DVD set covers all the key engagements of the European theatre of battle. On the ground, watch Germany invade Poland and unleash a new form of warfare with devastating consequences in Blitzkrieg. In the air, experience the desperate race to develop faster, deadlier aircraft and find out how close the Allies came to losing the war for Europe's skies in the air war. And in the bunkers during the war's last dark days, witness the disintegration of Hitler's empire and the challenges of rebuilding a shattered continent in the end in Europe. Call 0800 357 632 now and we'll send you all 3 DVDs to watch at home absolutely free with no obligation to buy. But that's not all. Order by credit card and get a free DVD, The Violent Century, and see why the 20th century was the most brutal in history. Experience the sacrifices, the glory, and the evil that stunned the world. See the key battles as they really happened. Confront men whose schemes lit the fuse of war. Witness bravery so remarkable that it turned the tide of battle. And watch as weapons attain a fury even their creators could not control. Further volumes in the Century of Warfare collection explore the battles that have afflicted the world from the last 100 years, from the trenches of World War I, to the stealth bombers of the First Gulf War, from the shadow of the Iron Curtain, to the killing fields of Vietnam. Every DVD has been digitally remastered and includes bonus 3D special features and state-of-the-art computer graphics. This is war as you've never seen it before. Call 0800 357 632 now to preview the Century of Warfare World War II DVD set free for 14 days with no obligation to buy. If you're not completely satisfied, just send it back and keep your free bonus DVD, The Violent Century, with our compliments. You'll owe us absolutely nothing. Keep all 4 DVDs and pay just 3 installments of $9.99 or a total of $29.97. So don't wait. Call 0800 357 632 now.
It's a tiny animal making big headlines. The honeybee. It's a cornerstone of the environment, essential to our food supply. But
Gives a whole new dimension of fresh breath. Colgate Max Fresh Toothbrush with an amazing tongue freshener.
Small business owners, we know you're hard to impress. Let's try. Direct Line now provides insurance for a range of businesses, from shopkeepers and tradesmen to property landlords. We'll give you a dedicated business team in a UK call centre. We'll cut out the middleman and guarantee to beat your renewal quote. Interested? Call or visit directlineforbusiness.co.uk. It pays to be with the right insurer.
Are you bringing any weapons?
Of course not. Sylvester Stallone.
Live for nothing. Die for something.
Rambo.
Instead of big stores, we have a big new catalogue pack with thousands of little prices. Right now, this JVC 32-inch digital LCD TV is under £400. And you can get this Xbox 360 for under £240, plus this 5-game pack free. Pick up your catalogue today. Don't shop for it, Argos it.
Small business owners, we know you're hard to impress. Let's try. Direct Line now provides insurance for a range of businesses, from shopkeepers and tradesmen to property landlords. We'll give you a dedicated business team in a UK call centre. We'll cut out the middleman and guarantee to beat your renewal quote. Interested? Call or visit directlineforbusiness.co.uk. It pays to be with the right insurer.
You're watching Nat Geo Wild, the natural home of National Geographic wildlife.
They can gently tend eggs, hold on for dear life, scratch an itch, and woo a mate. But don't let their more peaceful functions fool you. Claws also evolved for the deadliest of ends. They slice and they grab, tear, torture, and impale. Clawed and taloned predators terrorize heaven, earth, and water with their slashing armory. The claw, a thing of nightmares, the last cruel sight that many a creature sees, finely honed to be built for the kill. Claws, talons, pincers. These meat hooks, killing contraptions, are often designed to draw blood and end life. Emerging from the ends of limbs, slender, curved, pointed, deadly. In some designed to jackknife out from a hidden sheath. In others to snap shut with a powerful force. But for millions of years on this old planet, life evolved slowly. Plants colonizing the sea, next the land. 500 million years ago, predators. Early predators were limbless, blob-like, oozing menaces in the primeval oceans. But a biological arms race encouraged murderous creativity. Limbs were so handy that resourceful life constantly reinvented them. Over and over, and over, and over. And once weapons were attached to the ends of these appendages, then the killing could begin in earnest. As is often the case in evolution, the weapons race reached exaggerated proportions with many of the dinosaurs. The reptilian predator Deinonychus was small and lightly built, with a body less than 3 meters long. But it also had a remarkable scimitar-shaped claw on the inside of each foot, thought to have been retractable, ensuring that it could be pulled away from the foot to prevent it being blunted, so that it would stay deadly sharp, earning its owner the name Terrible Claw. One species of Spinosaur had claws almost a foot long. These ancient gaffing hooks could tear the belly from its prey in one swoop. But claws were not just the property of these great reptiles. Mammals too evolved claws. Jerry-rigged from the same substance that gave the world scales, fur, hooves, and feathers. A few genetic flourishes, and the hooves of the hunted become the claws of the hunter. All the mammalian carnivores have claws, ranging in size from 12 centimeters to just a few millimeters. But it's the avian counterparts of the dinosaurs that have truly clawed their way to rule the air. And the Lord of the Skies has the claws to make a dinosaur proud. Eagles. These magnificent birds scorch the heavens with their cries. With their hooked heads and hooked feet, they descend on the beasts of the earth from the air with speed, accuracy, and deadly intent. From head feathers to tail, these relics of an ancient kingdom carry the heirlooms of their ancestors with them. Heirlooms that are carried through the skies above Blythe Canyon in the claws of a remarkable raptor. This is a landscape as demanding, powerful, and awe-inspiring as its inhabitants. The rivers that rake through this mountain range have helped sculpt this rugged environment. Here, the climate is subtropical and warm. This is the home of the vervet monkey and its aerial assassin, the African crowned eagle. These magnificent predators soar through these skies armed with remarkable weapons, their claws. The hind claw is as thick as a man's little finger, and with these feet, she can crush an animal 5 times her own weight. Today, however, she's after a tender treat. A moist, meaty meal in a tough jungle, the vervets are haunted by many ground-based predators. But the heights of the canopy will not protect them. Death comes from above. Less than 2 in 3 of these infants will make it to adulthood. These terrible pressures have driven them to evolve a sort of proto-language, with different warning cries for each kind of predator. The eagle alarm is loud but diffuse, not giving away the crier's location. This call warns the monkeys to get out of the trees and under the bushes, out of range of the eagle's talons. But these smart little primates are up against a cunning opponent. To increase their chances, the sharp-clawed male and female crowned eagle will sometimes hunt together. The male screeches above the canopy to draw the vervet's attention, while the female swoops silently downward for a sneak attack from below. The vervets, riveted to the danger from the skies above, miss the female eagle's maneuver, and their youngster is blindsided. The eagle's claws pierce his body and skull from 4 directions at once. Powerful muscles in her legs snap. Her talons shut on her prey instinctively. She guards her prize until she can relax and prepare it for her own youngster, plucking the carcass clean. Carrying it in her enormous talons, she brings it back to the fledgling in the nest, his first taste of vervet monkey flesh. In his turn, he too will become a clawed terror of this forest. Still to come on Built for the Kill, the claws of the creepy, the crawly, the droll, and the deadly. Then, lethal talons take flight to terrorize desolate deserts. Sunday afternoons on Wild are not for the faint-hearted. This week we've dedicated 5 hours of incredible footage to the bad, the worse, and the very ugly of the animal kingdom. The Wild Bunch. This Sunday we go to the extreme and uncover some real-life monsters. We find the biggest snake, some larger-than-life crocodiles, and even delve into the mystery of the world's biggest pig, Hogzilla. The Wild Bunch Extreme. Sunday from 1 p.m. on Nat Geo Wild.
The best recipes are always passed around, so Heinz bring you 40 of your baby's favourites with Mum's own recipe.
Cool, what's a carry-on? Hey, it's a good job Brenda and Audrey were invited. Right, ladies, let's see how one single sheet of new Bounty Woodura quilts can wipe the floor with Audrey's ordinary towels. Just look at that, eh? One sheet's all she needs to carry on mopping and wringing. Audrey's got herself in a right 2 and 8. Blimey, Bounty's much better value. Oh, look out, mate! One in the eye for you. And you bouncy with Dura quilts can carry on cleaning with just one sheet.
1 in 3 smoke alarms doesn't have a working battery. So let's see. Who's going to be trapped in the house while it burns? Your brother? Your mother? You? Maybe you should test yours now. Go on. Pull your finger out.
Same game, new rules. Register for free now at datingdirect.com.
Could you do with a Kleenex tissue? When you're all bunged up, blow it loud and blow it proud. Kleenex, let it out.
Flakes! Milk, milk! What? Oh, my milk!
Shadows of the deep. Stealthy hunters. Indiscriminate killers. Or is there more to sharks than meets the eye? A week exploring a world few dare to go for a glimpse of this infamous creature. Spend 5 nights outside the cage and find out what makes sharks kings of the ocean. Shark Week, starting Monday at 10 on Nat Geo Wild.
Millions of years ago, the first of the clawed creatures began roaming the earth. Ancestors of our insects, spiders, and creepy crawlies of all sorts. Many paired claws with poison to become the things of our nightmares, like this emperor scorpion, the largest on the African continent. She's extremely territorial, and scrambling through the night, stumbles across another of her kin out hunting. The blood is up, along with nasty-looking snappers, and these two do battle with their deadly digits, each trying to hold the other down in a claw lock to get the upper hand and a chance to deliver the deadly thrust of venom from the stinger. But it's a stalemate, and the scorpion takes her claws and stinger home. But the animal that raised the development of the claw to a high art was the crab. Consummate survivors, crabs can be found scuttling across the ocean floors and damp shores of the earth and sidestepping over some of the most inhospitable places on the planet. Underground rivers are home to blind crabs, who have no need of sight in this dark. Some crabs live underneath the floating seaweed of the Sargasso Sea, hunting the fish that dart by. Others swarm the briny deep, scraping a living in the cold. Most are scavengers, scarfing up the detritus of beaches with relish. But some use their claws to deadly effect. On the shores of South America, Ridley's turtles have just been hatched and are trying to make their way to the ocean. But they've been spotted. The local ghost crabs greedily eat turtle eggs and hatchlings when they get the chance. The hatchling appears disoriented by the chase, but still it keeps up a scrambling battle, flapping its limbs at the tiny predator, having to rely on its immature shell to protect it from the crab's pinching. It desperately tries to make its escape from the crab's lair. The crab, however, has the upper claw. On the coral atolls of the Pacific Ocean, these orange crabs use their claws to go beachcombing, where the tides bring them all manner of oddities. But their claws are deadly serious to this nesting term, as they push relentlessly for their meal. Eggs, over easy. The most spectacular of the crab claws comes in handy for courting, not killing. This muddy patch of North America is home to millions of fiddler crabs.
named after the motion of the male's enlarged claw. All the males of this species have one absurdly cumbersome claw, or cheliped. The females have two minor claws and can feed with both. The males tend to be flashier, both in color and in size. They can be left or right-handed, but all flaunt their claws to woo the ladies in a strange little dance of love. For this species, apparently, size does matter. However unlikely a courtship appendage the claw may be, crabs are not the only ones to use it in flashy ways. This is Snake Island, a tiny spit of land in the South China Sea. Here, there are crabs aplenty, courting wildly. But the award for the most spectacular use of the claw in courtship has to go to these young masters of the skies. For whirlwind romance, nothing compares with the aerial acrobatics of these sea eagles. Clasped talon to talon, they're fighting for the claw of a ladylove, with whom they will often bond for life. And romantic as this island paradise seems to be, it's troubled with some of the most venomous creatures on Earth. Sea snakes glide and coil through the oceans below the eagle's flight. Why they congregate on this particular island, no one can say for sure. They come in their hundreds, anxious to mate. With some of the most potent venom of all the snakes, they give most of the locals a good scare. But not the sea eagle. Slim and graceful, this rapacious raptor weighs in at under 3 kilos. Usually, her menu consists of fish, and with these uncannily precise claws, she can snatch them up on the wing. But in this season of romance, there's something else on the menu. As night falls on the island, a full moon rises, kindling the serpent's passions. The sea snakes that have gathered mate in the dark, safe from the sea eagle during the dead of night. At dawn, they will flee, and many will escape this eagle's eye. But not all. The sea eagle spies a snake, meat for her hungry and growing family, but it dives out of sight. The eagle has time on her side though, and feet flexed for fury. The muscles in her legs, like those of other raptors, are well developed for grasping and holding prey. These are attached to a complex set of tendons in her feet that control the toes and talons. And when the snake resurfaces, the eagle is ready. She swoops down, leading with her deadly equipment, and the most venomous of serpents is doomed by aerial grace, extraordinary precision, and claws that are truly built for the kill. Hunting birds are usually solitary. But on the other side of the world, in the baking heat of the southwestern United States, an unusual congregation gathers to terrorize with its multitudes of talons. This is the Arizona desert, a blistering landscape, spiked with cactus and crackling thorny brush. It's also home to a predator that wields conspicuous spikes of its own, the Harris's hawk. The Harris's hawk is one of the few birds of prey in the world that adheres to the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. These are extraordinarily social raptors, with extended family groups that nest close together and share responsibility for raising young. But they also put their talons together when it comes time to kill, giving new meaning to another old saying. The family that prays together stays together. Out here, though, the hawks have to deal with many thorny issues in pursuit of their prey. First among them, trying to get a pain-free purchase on the local vegetation. And if that weren't enough, one of their favorite snacks, the wood rat, has fortified the entrance to its den with organic barbed wire, thorns. It poses what looks like a real conundrum for the hawk. But this is where teamwork comes in. The hawk's gang carefully stakes out the neighborhood and waits. Now the lead hawk makes its ground assault at the wood rat's front door, hurling its fearsome talons at the hapless rodent, terrorizing it. The wood rat bolts for the next fortification, a prickly pear nearby. But it's little more than a trap. The hawk's compatriots have followed the wood rat's flight from the burrow and take up stakeout positions on the prickly pear. It's a war of nerves, rodent versus hawk. And the rat blinks first. It bolts and is doomed. The vice-like grip of these powerful talons skewers the prey from all sides, bringing instantaneous death, if the rat's lucky. It's a victory for the winged allies, and they gather again for another team kill. A cattle pond has been created in this desert for domestic livestock. It's also an oasis for the thirsty wildlife and for the bloodthirsty. Small creatures flee as the hawks take flight. One bird breaks formation to go after a quail. Harrises can be quite capable predators on their own. It's only in this hostile place that they typically band together to hunt. The rest of the hungry gang has its eyes on another meal, a cottontail. Even while intent on eating, the rabbit is vigilant and nervous, ready to bolt in an instant. It has keen hearing and sharp, bulging eyes situated on the sides of its head to give it nearly 360 degrees of vision. So the hawks will have to cooperate to pull this off. The cottontail is no easy mark. It can hit 55 kilometers an hour and zigzag with dizzying agility. It manages to elude one pursuer's lethal claws with a quick dodge, but it's not in the clear. The other two hawks quickly close ranks around the rabbit, and one makes the hit. Like other birds of prey, the Harris's hawk has a killing fist with a grip several times more powerful than that of humans, and tipped with lances that can crush the skulls and rib cages of rodents like eggshells. While the Harris's hawk has solved the problem of catching dinner by having the whole family over, on the other side of the world, the African harrier hawk, or gymnogene, has taken a more flexible approach. In addition to his snap-happy talons, he's adapted a most unusual delivery system. This smoke-grey masked hawk soars over the African canopy, flying to the cliff face and anchoring itself against it. Its wings hide what's been happening, but moments later, the hawk returns to the nest to feed the chicks with bat meat, using his sharp claws and beak to tear it into child-sized portions. This hawk has a bizarre modification: double-jointed ankle bones. This gives his claws a greater range within the cracks in cliffs where bats dwell, and the nesting homes of birds in trees, to feel about and snag a little morsel. It searches through nooks with its small head, and when it sees something it likes, thrusts its legs into the hole, and round his feet move until they hit their target and the claws snatch down. Raptor talons are spectacular aerial weapons, but these birds are not the only winged animals with attached hooks that are built for the kill. There are also bats. Bats are so unusual, so unique, that they form their own order among the mammals. For most bats, claws could hardly be considered weapons. They're used for the most part simply to hang on in their gravity-defying and characteristic stance. There is one bat, however, whose talons are long and curved, and built to an unusual shape. In the dead of night, the jungle air in southern Belize is filled with sweet noises to the ears of the nocturnal predators. Insect noises thrum, frogs sing songs of romance through the trees. And to the sensitive ears of the winged mammals that live here, the night screams dinner. Using echolocation, bats use their ears to see their prey. This bat, however, has an additional weapon in her arsenal. At night, she goes fishing. Outside her treehouse, she hears fish in a jungle river splashing. Silently surfing the air, she swoops down to skim the water, her long curved claws dipping underneath, attempting to land her first course. These claws, unlike those of the raptors, are recurved, pointing forward and upward rather than down or back, so that with these built-in fishing hooks, she can pierce her dinner. She brings food home to Junior. Someday he too will use his feet with their recurved claws to go spear fishing in the jungle. But for now, he lets Mum do the work. She will catch up to 30 fish this evening, stuffing herself to convert the food into milk for her pup. Another generation to terrorize the jungle night with claws on the wing. Up next, perhaps the most exquisitely deadly of all the clawed creatures, the cat in all its forms, wielding its claws across the plains of Africa and the steppes of Asia, and with grim effect in our own backyards. And find out why he's called Old Man Claws.
Call the police!
Get your hands off me, mate. Otherwise, we'll call the police.
These are the Animal Inspectors. A brand new series on Nat Geo Wild follows Auckland's best animal rescue force. Working round the clock, the animal welfare team work hard to save all kinds of animals from harm.
Here you go, mate. I wish we could save every single one of them, but it's just not possible.
Animal Inspectors, weeknights at 8:30 on Nat Geo Wild.
Right now, bedwetting should be the last thing on your mind. New Dry Night Sleep Shorts keep your child feeling dry and confident, so you can both relax into a good night's sleep. Look for Dry Night's new sleep shorts and original pyjama pants for boys and girls. Dry Nights, lighten the night.
Woke up this morning feeling fine. We've a current account that'll blow your mind. We give you 60 times more than these others could. You get 60 times like you know you should. Something tells me you're into something good. Something tells me we're into something.
Our customers get extra and you know that it's true.
We like to make a song and dance over you.
Join the bank that pays 6% credit interest.
Hello, Muller have sent me on a quest around the world to find a snack that I reckon is as tasty and low fat as Muller rice, made with natural rice, milk and fruit. I'm here in Japan. Ended up here to try Ika, squid in vinegar. It's definitely healthy, but not as tasty as a less than 3% fat Muller rice.
Clever isn't always complicated, like micronutrient peanut butter. Clever because shrunken stomachs can digest it. Clever because it keeps malnourished kids alive. Simple solutions like this could have stopped nearly 10 million kids under 5 from dying last year. The world knows how to stop this. Surely it's clever enough to do something about it. We save the children. Will you?
Looking for a new way to save money on your car insurance?
Visit GoCompare.com.
Just tell them everything your policy has to have. They'll compare the best prices from loads of insurance companies and show you which quotes come with everything you asked for using their special 5-star rating.
So visit GoCompare.com.
Why go compare anywhere else?
Girl, come on, Cameron, through my legs. Go on.
Watch them grow with delicious new Munch Bunch. One portion of Munch Bunch contains all the calcium of a glass of milk. New great-tasting Munch Bunch. Great for growing kids. From Munch Bunch.
What's this then? I know. Yes!
The never-ending roll. New Andrex Longer Lasting, as tested by you know who.
Of all the clawed carnivores, it's the cats that are the most exclusive meat eaters. They're designed to be predators from the tips of their whiskers to the twitch of their tails. The built-in killing tackle of these magnificent animals is part of a deadly armament that ensures that these creatures are built for the kill. All members of the carnivorous cat family hunt and fight with sharp, curved claws. As a cat springs towards its prey, it reaches out with its claws to hook the victim and pull it down. These retractable claws are far too valuable to leave out, so when not being used, the claws are sheathed, pulled into the paws, so they can't be blunted by walking about on the ground. These weapons are part of the cat, attached to the last bone of each toe. And cats take good care of them, keeping them sharp and deadly by honing frequently. Of course, you don't need to be the king of the jungle to be a king among killers. These smaller cousins of the lion are deadly in their own cunning way. With a place in our hearts and a place in our homes, the cat lives among us. Sometimes pampered, sometimes spoiled, and sometimes thought of as tame. Within this animal, however, like its wild relatives, beats the heart of a hunter. For climbing, digging, in self-defense, and in play, a cat uses her multi-purpose tools with panache. A cat uses its claws to scratch and itch. Her miniature mountaineering crampons are useful in hoisting herself aloft. While running, the claws can act like cleats to provide extra traction. Retractable claws come as standard operating equipment on cats. And they're magnificently designed, versatile tools. But it's in attacking prey that these switchblades show how expertly this cuddly creature is designed to be a pouncing killer. A relatively recent arrival, these descendants of wild cats came into their own in ancient Egypt. With the rise of agriculture came the storage of grain, and granaries in Egypt provided the cat with a food source, rats, and a grateful public who idolized them as symbols of fertility and pleasure. The cat has sauntered its way into our everyday lives. Through careful breeding, humans have established nearly 50 different cat breeds. Though they may not all look like killers, they all carry the scythes of death within their paws. Dogs may have their day, but night belongs to the cat. Its night vision and sensitive whiskers help him navigate by starlight. These claws, relics of its tree-climbing ancestors, are put to deadly use in this tiny predator. Even cat saliva contains bacteria that can be deadly to small wild animals. If the small prey manages to evade the puncturing of the cat's deadly claws, it can succumb to infection within 2 days. With a flexible backbone like a cheetah, the cat can run at over 40 kilometers an hour. The supple spine of this marvel of engineering allows elegant acrobatic performances of which we can only dream. The cat's uncanny sense of balance ensures that a cat usually lands on its feet. Kitten by kitten and cat by cat, domestic cats have an enormous impact on small mammals and birds. They're thought to kill several 100,000 annually. For bigger prey, of course, you need bigger paws, bigger claws, and a larger range across which to chase your dinner and spear it for the killing bite. In the heart of the Serengeti Plains in Africa lie the iconic woodlands of acacia, the umbrella thorn trees of the African savanna. Dominating the landscape, these trees transform what could be a barren wilderness into a magnet for animals. These evergreens churn sunlight into food, nourishment for themselves, but fuel that is desired by other animals on the plains. The trees draw herbivores from miles around. Following them, carnivores. Thorn tree country offers more than just food. It's also a great hiding place. A safe creche in which this mother lioness can leave her young cubs. She leaves them under the thorns while she readies to use her claws to take down dinner. Nighttime is when the queen of cats with her deadly powerful paws does much of the hunting, usually with the help of her sisters. The lioness's modified eye has a large pupil and lens to gather as much light as possible. But they rely almost entirely on their acute hearing. Moving noiselessly through the darkness, stopping frequently to stand, motionless, they listen with intense concentration for the slightest sounds of their prey. Although the lions may not see any better at night than their prey, the deep shadows provide more cover for stalking. Often working together in packs, they can be deadly in the moonlight. But this lioness will not pass up the opportunity of an easy lunch in the middle of the day. Stalking, silent and stealthy, the lion gets as close as possible to the zebras. Lions can run at nearly 50 kilometers an hour, zebras at 60 plus. The lion's only hope is explosive acceleration. The zebras sense they're being stalked, and there's a damp stampede out of the water. In the chaos, the lioness spots a zebra foal. Launching her muscular body at the young foal, she sinks her enormous claws into the youngster's hide, ripping through the still living flesh. Lions can anchor animals far larger than a foal to their death with these weapons. As they haul down a water buffalo, their scimitar claws slashing, these angels of death on the African plains are exquisitely and brutally built to claw and to kill. The king of the jungle may have the mane and the mantle, but not the biggest claws in the cat family. That title belongs to the Siberian tiger. A citizen of the Asian tundra, this animal lays claim to the lives of those that live in this beautiful, harsh, snow-cursed landscape. With enormous feet like padded snowshoes that splay out across the tundra, and a body that can accelerate to 80 kilometers per hour, this magnificent animal is built to kill across these vast stretches. Ordinarily solitary, tigers come together to mate, and while growing, the cubs will stay with their mother. These beasts will hunt down deer and wild boar. They are the ultimate predator in this ecosystem, afraid of nothing and no one. But they're not above a little midnight snack. With a predatory pounce and the swat of a paw, this tiger skewers the rabbit. The tiger's body is built to hunt. Longer hind legs than front legs provide muscular leverage for the fatal leap, while strong and powerful forelimbs and shoulders come into play once they have hooked the hapless prey with their sharp, retractile claws. This lonely hunter embodies the mystery and danger of the wild places of the earth. But it's the cheetah that is fixed in our minds as the icon of pursuit. Streaking across the African continent like nothing else on this planet. Speed kills. At full bent, the cheetah can hit 110 kilometers per hour. It can outstrip antelope, outpace impala, and outflank wildebeest, guaranteeing it will outrun its dinner. Every part of the cheetah's body is designed for speed. From its high-domed small skull to its counterbalancing tail. The cheetah's claws are unlike those of other cats. They are semi-retractile. They're also shorter and straighter than other cats and act like spikes on running shoes, providing the additional traction needed for the startling acceleration. The dew claws of the cheetah, unlike those of other cats, are exceptionally sharp and curved and help the cheetah haul down the beast that it has slapped these hooks onto. These claws help provide the speed for which the cheetah is famously built for the kill. Unfortunately, the cheetah's lean physique works against it when it comes to keeping what it's earned. Lions and hyenas can easily chase the delicate cheetah from its kill. Another large cat, however, has a trick in its paw for just such an occasion. These spotted hunters use their claws not only to catch, but also to keep their dinner. Leopards are the smallest of the large cats and range throughout Africa and Asia, where they're often called the Black Panther. They stalk silently, their spots providing surprisingly good camouflage. These beautiful athletes are not sprinters like the cheetah. Like most of the rest of the cat family, they're ambush hunters. As they swat their prey, they unleash their claws to hold it for the suffocating bite. Like other cats, the leopard keeps its claws sheathed until the moment of attack. But their other function is in helping the leopard keep its dinner. Leopards are thought of as the tree-climbing champions of the cat family, and the claws and muscular body are invaluable in hauling a carcass up a tree, out of the way of lions and hyenas. This caching of prey up trees is a key to the leopard's survival in areas where there are other, more powerful predators. Cats instinctively seem to know how to use their claws, how to stalk and to hunt. But lessons from Mum are always welcome. Leopards give birth to a small litter, 2 or 3 cubs. They stay with the mother for up to 2 years, and as they grow older, she will teach them how to hunt. They start off small, trying to tackle their mother's tail and each other. But they'll need to get their claws into something a little more challenging. Tonight, their mother spots a brush hare. She gives chase, and subduing it brings it back alive. It's a training hare on which to practice the craft of the claw. It's kitten-sized carnage, ending in death and dismemberment. Eventually, the cubs will be able to take down prey as large as impala with their deadly claws. and claw their way to a peaceful dinner. But for sheer size and power behind these killing hooks, no other animal can beat Old Man Claws. This animal has the largest claws of any animal in the world. Bear claws are awesome weapons, used not only for killing, but for digging, climbing, fishing, and fighting. These heavy hooks can be up to 12 centimeters long, and coupled with the power of a 680-kilo bear, can disembowel prey with a languid swipe. Their sense of smell is very acute. They have excellent hearing and good vision. Surprisingly capable runners, the grizzly bear can gallop faster than an Olympic sprinter, reaching speeds of more than 50 kilometers an hour. And it can bring down prey with a single blow of its paw. When it comes to food, bears are omnivorous. Berries, roots, nuts, greens. The bear's hunger is unstinting. While they're awake, they must fatten themselves voraciously for the long winter sleep ahead. During the salmon spawning season, bears go fishing. Their claws working as fishing hooks to spear the salmon. It's an excellent source of protein and fat, and badly needed just after their long hibernation. Sometimes, the salmon make it easy. But sometimes, with the bears still a little sleepy perhaps, the fish get lucky. But bears also like red meat. They will eat moose, sheep, goats, and elk. Elk are enormous animals, fleet-footed and strong. Even the mighty wolf must hunt these beasts in packs. Without a coordinated attack, wolves wouldn't have the power to take them down. A grizzly, though not as speedy as a wolf, can still hit an impressive 50 kilometers an hour, and is usually canny enough to go after the slowest of the elk herd, the newborns. This young elk was unfortunate to come into the sights of this bloody-minded bear. Running like a hellhound, the bear launches itself toward the young animal who attempts to flee. But an unlucky stumble costs it dearly. The elk struggles in vain, but it's no use. The bear begins its meal even before the elk dies. Pitiless in pursuit and relentless in hunger, every inch of this powerhouse is built for the kill. Up next, alien-looking ancients take out cities with a swipe and meet the most fearless animal on the planet, who can take out a snake and terrorize killer bees with its killer claws.
Our Earth is in danger. Global temperatures have risen by nearly 1 degree, and the rate of change is accelerating. By the end of the century, some experts say temperatures could rise by 6 degrees. Environmental destruction, social chaos, a world we would not recognise. 6 degrees could change the world. It's a terrifying vision of what our future could be. Sunday at 7 on National Geographic Channel.
Recipes are always passed around, so Heinz bring you 40 of your baby's favourites with Mum's own recipe.
Cool, what a carry-on! Hey, it's a good job Brenda and Audrey were invited. Right, ladies, let's see how one single sheet of new Bounty Wardura quilts can wipe the floor with Audrey's ordinary towels. Just look at that, eh? One sheet's all she needs to carry on mopping and wringing. Audrey's got herself in a right to an 8. Blimey, Bounty's much better value. Oh, look out, mate. One in the eye for you. And you, Bounty with Dura Quilts, can carry on cleaning with just one sheet.
Could you do with a Kleenex tissue? When you're all bunged up, blow it loud and blow it proud. Kleenex. Let it out.
Same game, new rules. Register for free now at datingdirect.com.
1 in 3 smoke alarms doesn't have a working battery. So let's see. Who's going to be trapped in the house while it burns? Your brother? Your mother? You? Maybe you should test yours now. Go on. Pull your finger out.
Milk! Milk!
In the dead of night, on the African plains, giant fortresses built by millions of workers are troubled by a strange enemy. The alien-looking pangolin is one of the few mammals in the world without teeth. Her only weapons are her powerful long claws. And they serve her well. She's on the trail of her favorite meal, termites. But they live in these mighty, muddy citadels. These powerful digits tear into the baked hard mud of this termite colony, opening it up. Scrambling wildly, the many millions of termites are thrown into chaos by the destruction of their walled city. The pangolin uses her long, sticky tongue to lick up the nutty, protein-filled feast, decimating the colony. Her claws enabling her to kill hordes at every meal. Claws are tools for other animals to hunt down dinner, tearing into the earth to chase their prey. The honey badger. This little beast has made the Guinness Book of Records as the most fearless little animal in the world. With their distinctive jog trot, honey badgers can range over distances as great as 40 kilometers a day on their hunt for food. Insects, rodents, birds, all are consumed by this animal, reputed to be Africa's most fearless. Incredibly tenacious, they hunt constantly, barely resting between kills. These terrors are very well adapted to the digging lifestyle, with their powerful, stocky build, broad, muscular back, and formidable foreclaws. These claws can reach 40 millimeters in length and are the powerful digging tools that help deliver dinner. These long claws can rake up to 50 holes per session, breaking open the nests of their potential prey. The honey badger gets its name from its penchant for breaking into the homes of another vicious beast, the African honeybee. Though many desire the sweet, this resolute little brute is after something perhaps a little more savory. Breaking apart the honeycombs with its claws, despite the furious response of the bees, it tears down the house to eat the infants. The larvae are what this clawed terror is after, and even the frantic fury of the bee's stings won't stop him. Despite their solitary and reclusive nature, honey badgers attract quite a following. These pale chanting goshawk groupies have talons of their own, but their talons are more suited to snatch than to claw the earth, so they let the honey badger do the work for them. They can pluck the escaping prey that the honey badgers aren't fast enough for. Jackals, too, will make off with a little light refreshment when they get the chance. But the honey badger is no helpless victim. It's quite a thug in its own right, and willing and able to snatch a meal right out of the mouth of a snake. And not quite full after its first course, it turns on the outraged snake, and for its second course, takes the reptile's life. The puff adder strikes back with a venomous bite, but it's not enough to deter the badger. At least not until the toxin begins to course through his system. His cheek starts to swell, and he collapses. The snake may have struck a deadly blow. But though this clawed terror isn't immune to the snake's venom, he does manage to recover. He wakes up, shakes off his hangover, and casually resumes his grim and deadly meal. And the following day, he trots on to continue his terrible clawing through the savannah. Whether snatching killer snakes from the sea or piercing the flesh of our primate cousins, unsheathed for destruction in battle, ripping the bowels from unfortunate prey, destroying fortified strongholds, clawed and taloned combatants stalk every continent, armed for the onslaught, weapons sharp and deadly. Their hardware ensuring they are built for the kill.
Sunday afternoons on Wild are not for the faint-hearted. This week we've dedicated 5 hours of incredible footage to the bad, the worse, and the very ugly of the animal kingdom. The Wild Bunch. This Sunday, we go to the extreme and uncover some real-life monsters. We find the biggest snake, some larger-than-life crocodiles, and even delve into the mystery of the world's biggest pig, Hogzilla. The Wild Bunch Extreme, Sunday from 1 p.m. on Nat Geo Wild.
Fort Dodge Correctional Facility, home to 600 volatile young men, and known to inmates as Gladiator Camp.
If I got to, I'll close the door and lock myself in the cell with you. Everybody's out to prove themselves.
And if you're not strong or don't belong to a gang, then you're a target.
So I take my punishment as it's needed. That's all I can do.
Young and Bad, New America's Hardest Prisons, tomorrow from 9 on National Geographic Channel.
Put your head on my shoulder. Tonight you're mine completely.
For the first time ever, Time Life Music proudly presents the classic love songs of rock and roll. 120 of the greatest love songs in rock and roll history. With Elvis Presley, Roy Orbison, Bobby Darin, and many more.
A dream lover will come my way. A girl to hold in my arms and know the magic of her charm.
Every song in this classic collection is the original recording, all digitally mastered for the best sound ever.
Here he comes, that's Kathy's clown. Darling, darling, stand by me.
You'll get all the classics, the songs we fell in love to, the songs we danced to, love songs we'll always remember, by stars we'll never forget. You could spend hundreds of pounds trying to collect all these classic love songs, but call now and you can preview all 6 CDs free for 14 days. That's 120 rock and roll love songs for you to listen to at home, absolutely free, with no obligation to buy. But that's not all. When you call with your credit card, you'll also receive a free bonus album, Slow Dancing Classics. 20 of the most romantic rock and roll love songs ever.
Only you
With the Platters,
can make all this world seem right.
the Satins, and Percy Sledge. That's an incredible total of 140 hits on 7 CDs for you to listen to at home for 14 days with no obligation to buy. If it's not the best collection you've ever heard, just send it back and keep your free bonus CD with our compliments. You'll owe us absolutely nothing. Or keep the whole collection for just 4 easy monthly payments of $12.49, or a total of $49.96. Classic Love Songs of Rock and Roll is not sold in stores, so don't wait. Call 0800 357 612 now.
It's one of nature's most efficient ways to kill. Once injected into the bloodstream, it can damage nerves and flesh in minutes and trigger searing pain in seconds. This is venom, a virulent biological toxin and the weapon of choice for thousands of species. But which one is most deadly to man? Of those creatures armed with this lethal cocktail, which is more likely to kill you? Among the world's venomous creatures, there are those whose reputations are infamous, but there are many less well-known killers out there. Everything from mollusks to fish may be armed with onboard biological weapons that are 100% natural and in many cases deadly. But when it comes to human beings, there's always been a great deal of debate as to which of these creatures presents the greatest threat. It has inspired one man to come up with a pioneering new system for ranking the world's most dangerous venoms. Dr. Jamie Seymour is a venom biologist at James Cook University in Queensland, Australia.
We want to take the terrestrial snakes, we want to take the marine snakes, we want to take the marine animals, we want to take the whole lot, bring them all together and test that venom drop for drop, and then we want to put in things.
Ultimate Vipers. Tomorrow at 10 on Nat Geo Wild.
Tesco, we believe buying your car insurance should be as simple as shopping for food, with a great range under one roof. That's why we set up Tesco Compare. It's more likely to save you money than any other comparison site, and all in one simple visit. You see, we like to make things easy, whether you're buying sausages or insuring your old banger. Tesco Compare. Every little helps.
new Tiguan, the compact 4x4 from Volkswagen.
You're watching Nat Geo Wild, the natural home of National Geographic wildlife.
Life moves quickly, because death is close behind. Riding on the wind, parting the water, and scorching the earth with blinding quickness and deadly purpose. Speed is the weapon of choice for many fearsome killers. But it's also a valuable defensive strategy used by many prey. So life runs an eternal race. And nature's race is a race to the death, where the swiftest emerge victorious and built for the kill. New York City, rush hour. In the Big Apple, a speed-obsessed city in a fast-moving world, all of man's technological wonders have conspired to produce a daily miracle. Gridlock. Velocity, 0. But in the skies above, another daily miracle that few even bother to notice. The fastest living thing on Earth is reaching speeds of nearly 400 kilometers an hour. It's the peregrine falcon. New York City has a growing population of peregrine falcons, around 16 nesting couples. These small raptors usually live on high cliffs, overlooking vast open areas like prairies, tundra, and even cities, where trees don't hinder a direct aerial attack. While the tangled mess of human gridlock wrestles in the streets below, high above, the skyscrapers that blanket the city provide the perfect perch for the master hunters to survey the scene. And one of their favorite prey? Pigeon. And pigeons are plentiful here. With mouths to feed, this large male peregrine must go hunting. And where better to start than Central Park? This falcon grows to 33 to 48 centimeters in length and weighs less than a kilogram. But it's built for absolute speed. When a peregrine dives, it's called a stoop. Its streamlined wings bend slightly, like the wings of a fighter jet, and its feet press back against its tail. The pressure from this bullet-like dive would most likely burst an ordinary bird's lungs, but it's believed the peregrine's specialized nostrils reduce the speed of the incoming air. But pigeons are accomplished flyers as well. Reaching speeds of 96 kilometers an hour, they can dart free of many attacks. And pigeons have another survival strategy. When threatened, the flock moves together in a tight formation, much like a shoal of fish. This confuses their attackers, making it difficult for the predator to single out an individual bird. There is safety in numbers. But when a bird is on its own, all the fancy flying in the skies can't even these odds. Attacking at high speeds from above, the falcon hits the brakes and seizes the flustered pigeon with its deadly talons. Then, with a brilliant show of aerial acrobatics, the male hands the prey to his mate in mid-air. She will bring it back to her nest so the family can feast. A new generation of falcons with a taste for meat and a talent for speed. The secret behind the Peregrine's extraordinary speed comes in a miracle of physics embodied in the wing. The wing is the key to flight, an evolutionary masterpiece that humans have long admired and frequently emulated, though never as efficiently as the birds. With a flat bottom and an arched, tapered top, soaring wings are designed to displace air as they cut through the sky. And there are a variety of shapes and sizes, many of which are built for speed. The harpy eagle, one of the largest flying raptors in the world, has large, broad wings, so it can soar effortlessly above the canopy, a design often mimicked in many larger aircraft. The breathtaking velocity of the tiny hummingbird, some species of which can beat their wings as fast as 80 times every second, can easily outmaneuver even our most agile flying machines. And the fastest of all, the peregrine falcon, has wings designed for absolute diving speed. When a peregrine dives, their wings bend slightly, creating a perfectly aerodynamic sail, minimizing its resistance through the air. By doing so, the falcon uses gravity to its advantage, maximizing its terminal velocity and reaching truly extraordinary speeds. But just how fast has long been a mystery, until one man decided to use an unconventional approach to try and solve it. Ken Franklin had a plan: dive with a peregrine. Together, he and his bird jumped from a plane, plummeting to the earth with remarkable speed. When Ken reached his terminal velocity of 193 kilometers an hour, he dropped a measured weight with a piece of meat attached, which the peregrine promptly pursued. Knowing the speed of the weight, he could determine the top speed of the falcon. What he found was remarkable. Ken clocked his falcon at an astonishing 389 kilometers per hour, showing that in terms of raw velocity, the peregrine falcon is the fastest living thing on Earth. The champion of speed, flawlessly designed and built for the kill. When we return, an odd avian boasts a different claim as fastest bird in the world, as we witness another design at work in the swiftest aquatic creatures. Watch the quickest swimmers in the ocean torpedo through the water with lightning speed, lethal stamina, or deadly agility. And meet the master of the rivers, the otter, as it slips, slides, and dives its way to dinner.
A species 20 million years old. Armed with cutting-edge tools. The cause of 100,000 deaths a year. It has evolved over time to become the ultimate killing machine. Ultimate Vipers. Tomorrow at 10 on Nat Geo Wild.
Enjoy a festival of style this winter. Here's the Peugeot 207, Europe's best-selling car in its class with low-rate finance. And is that the Peugeot 308 down there? From £11,995. Yes, it is. Visit the Festival of Winter 2008 at your Peugeot dealer now.
When the world ends, the battle begins.
I'm coming for you.
Resident Evil Extinction on DVD now.
6-year-old Aissatou from Senegal has to drink water that's full of parasites. She's regularly sick with diarrhea and vomiting. With World Vision, you can sponsor a child like Aissatou for just 60p a day, but what you feel in return is priceless.
£18 a month is nothing, really. So to be able to help a child to have fresh drinking water is the most wonderful thing anyone could do.
What will you feel when you sponsor a child with World Vision? Call 0800 50 10 10 now or visit worldvision.org.uk.
Fort Dodge Correctional Facility, home to 600 volatile young men, and known to inmates as Gladiator Camp.
If I got to, I'll close the door and lock myself in the cell with you. Everybody's out to prove themselves.
And if you're not strong or don't belong to a gang, then you're a target.
So I take my punishment as it's needed. That's all I can do.
Young and Bad, New America's Hardest Prisons, Wednesday from 9 on National Geographic Channel.
The Wing is a masterpiece, unequaled in the sky, giving the world's great flyers reign over their aerial kingdoms. But in the far reaches of the south, there lives another curious bird. One that does not even fly. The Gentoo penguin is the fastest bird in the water. Living in Antarctica and the surrounding islands, this 5-kilogram avian uses its short, waterproof wings like flippers, allowing it to maneuver through the icy waters with impressive speed. A thick layer of insulating blubber keeps it warm, as its sleek, streamlined shape and compact feathers rocket the Gentoo to speeds of 36 kilometers per hour. And it had better swim quickly, because there are killers in these waters that are even faster. Emerging from the shadows, a large male southern sea lion is on the trail of the Gentoos. The penguin's best chance for escape: rocket onto land and run to safety. While their true expertise lies in the water, these penguins can also run as fast as a human. But that won't stop this hunter. When the sea lion hits the shore, he merely switches gears and sets off at a gallop after the frightened Gentoo. Two master swimmers in an all-out foot race across the barren landscape. Growing to around 2.5 meters and weighing more than 300 kilograms, the sea lion has rear flippers that are pointed backwards. So the massive bear-like creature uses strong thrusts of its pelvic bone to propel itself forward. But neither penguin nor sea lion is accustomed to this kind of grueling land speed. Their endurance lies in the water. Soon, both are overcome by pure exhaustion. But while this earns the penguin a brief respite from the chase, in the end, it will be shown no mercy. With the last of its energy, the sea lion tackles the exhausted bird and breaks its neck. The chase is over, and the penguin is dead. The Gentoo may be the fastest bird in the water, but his tiny strides on land just don't compare to the sea lion's lumbering bulk. The sea lion is one of a group of carnivores that have evolved to thrive in the water. Aquatic speed requires a wholly different design from speed on land or in the sky. Liquids are much more difficult to move through than air. More friction means more drag. But life has a solution. In the deep blue of the open ocean, there lives a creature that embodies aquatic speed. Few can compare to the giant bluefin tuna. The largest and oldest of the tuna species, it can grow to around 3 meters, nearly twice the height of an average human. And it's as fast as a speedboat. Its method for speed is as simple as it is efficient. Streamlined to cut through the water, this 680-kilogram mass of muscle is propelled by broad sweeps of its strong, crescent-shaped tail to speeds of around 80 kilometers an hour. This remarkable velocity helps the tuna hunt, elude potential predators, and migrate. Bluefin tuna can cross entire oceans, distances of more than 9,000 kilometers. Theirs is one of the largest and fastest migrations on Earth. That's the equivalent of going from LA to Tokyo, and they do it in just over a month. And always on their journeys, they're on the lookout for a meal. And a school of mackerel will do just fine. These smaller fish might seem an easy mark, but much like the pigeons, they swarm together in a vast churning mass. Tens of thousands of the small fish swimming together in the form of a single immense beast, with the hope of confusing the predators. But the tuna aren't fooled. Weaving in and around the mass of fish, they take turns herding the giant bait ball. Periodically swooping in to take huge mouthfuls. With retractable eyes and dorsal and pectoral fins that pull tight to their bodies, they can reduce their friction in the water, giving them bursts of immediate speed. Turbo tuna. In all the commotion, dolphins are drawn to the fray, looking for a free meal. Instead of running the smaller dolphins off, which they could easily do, the tuna actually seem to cooperate with them. Together they herd the massive ball of fish, not allowing them to break up and escape. And together they feast. The bluefin tuna shares these waters with some 80 different species of cetacean. Cetaceans are not fish, rather they are mammals. Descendants of hairy four-legged creatures who once walked on land. They include among their members all of the whales, porpoises and dolphins, some of the fastest creatures in the seas. Wearing a highly streamlined torpedo-shaped design, it's the dolphin's tail that provides the power. Driven by large muscles in the back and belly, the tail's dual blades move through the water horizontally rather than vertically, as in most fish. Just a few simple thrusts of the spring-loaded propeller can launch the dolphins from the water as high as 5 meters, giving them a view from above and helping them track their prey. Their flippers allow them the maneuverability and control to dive, turn, and even brake as they race through the water in search of food. Dolphins also wear highly specialized skin that helps them maximize their speed. Tiny vibrations in the skin are thought to reduce drag, while highly acute sense organs detect minute variations of temperature and pressure in the ocean. By instantly adjusting to these changing conditions, the dolphin's skin can actually feel the fastest way through the water, helping them to hunt and elude potential predators. Swimming at speeds of over 50 kilometers an hour, a healthy dolphin can easily outmaneuver even the quickest sharks. Of all the small-toothed whales in the ocean, the fastest is the Dall's porpoise. Found exclusively in the northern waters of the northern Pacific, these stocky, muscular swimmers are cold water dwellers. While they're usually found in family pods of around 10 to 20 members, it's not uncommon to see them in groups by the thousands, hunting for small squid and schooling fish. As they rocket through the water at speeds of up to 56 kilometers per hour, each time they surface, they create a distinctive V-shaped splash known as a rooster tail. But as fast as the Dall's porpoises are, they're not safe, even from their own cousins. Weighing 40 times more than the Dall's porpoise and covered in similar black and white patterns, What makes the killer whale so frightening is that it's just as fast, able to equal a much smaller porpoise's top speed of 56 kilometers per hour. Like its relatives, the killer whale has a large horizontal tail that propels it through the water, powered by a thick muscular torso. Looking similar in design to many of our fastest submarines. While orcas often use echolocating clicks to navigate and hunt, these whales are silent, knowing the clicks might expose their presence. And when tracking the Dall's porpoise, they'll need the element of surprise. What's to follow is a race between two of the fastest mammals in the water. The porpoise is a worthy adversary, but the killers have a plan. As one orca cuts off the victim's path, another dives below and impacts the prey. The Dall's porpoise is doomed. Killer whales often take their time killing their victim, allowing it to bleed to death or waste its final breath on hopeless thrashing. Intelligent, organized, fast, and merciless. The killer whale is one of the most skilled predatory mammals in the sea, designed for speed and built for the kill. But speed in the water is not limited to the open ocean. In western North America, a landscape cut by a vast system of streams and waterways, another remarkably fast mammal moves with a different kind of aquatic speed. River otters are armed with a set of tools that lets them slip, slide, and torpedo their way through life. Twisting and turning at nearly 30 kilometers an hour in pursuit of a fish, and sometimes, it seems, just for fun. With a thoroughly hydrodynamic, streamlined shape, strong limbs, and webbed feet, the otter maneuvers through the water and across the ice and snow. Its long, flattened tail acts as a paddle. As its flexible backbone twists into most any position it pleases, giving the nimble otter an impressive speed and agility in the tangled maze of the river. Few creatures are as lively as the otter. With seemingly boundless energy, they continue to play, slide, and frolic long after adolescence, much like humans. But this much energy requires a lot of fuel, which means they must eat a lot, around a quarter of their own body weight every single day. And so they fish. Spring in the Rockies brings with it an explosion of life. New creatures emerge from all sides as old pros wake from a long winter slumber. And in the winding waterways that cut through these mountains, cutthroat trout are on a vigorous journey upstream to their spawning grounds. Trout are fast, moving quickly upriver on the long trek back to their birthplace. For these young otter brothers, the river is part playground, part classroom, and the trout are the next lesson. They have speed and agility in their genes, but the fish are quick and cunning, and racing for their lives. Otters can seal their ears and nostrils to keep water out. And by reducing their heart rate, they can stay under for up to 5 minutes. One otter tries to corral the fish towards his brother, but the fish are hard to pin down. In the end, one young otter makes a clever move, and the game is over. But in the wild, just because you catch it doesn't mean it's yours. With a sneaky grab, the other otter snatches the fish from his brother's arms. Sometimes, life just isn't fair. Speed has many dimensions. There are predators who fly through the sky with extraordinary quickness, and some that rocket through the water with sheer velocity. But many of the world's most effective predators use an altogether different kind of speed. The quick reflex of the strike. Camouflaged in the sand, this hunter spends much of its time without moving at all, lying in wait for the right moment, when quickness truly pays off. Even the slowest fish in the ocean, the seahorse, which floats through the water nearly motionless, has one of the fastest strikes around. With its long horse-like snout, this tiny killer quickly sucks up a small shrimp. Fast, specialized weapons such as these are actually quite common in the wild. In the murky waters of a forest bog, a predatory youngster hunts for a victim. A masterful swimmer, honed for speed, this dragonfly nymph will someday take to the air as one of the fastest flying insects in the world. But for now, he's right at home, as these insects spend their youth underwater. Breathing through an anal gill, which doubles as a jet engine for fast propulsion, the dragonfly nymph is a swift predator, racing through the water with one of the fastest speeds of all the aquatic insects. With powerful jaws and enormous eyes, it hunts the swampy depths in search of a victim. And a fellow youngster will do just fine. The nymphs share their watery home with tadpoles, squirming through life with hopes of one day hopping onto land. But the nymph has a secret weapon. Under its head, it hides a spring-loaded hydraulic spear with a sharp, grasping tip that cuts through the water with hydrodynamic speed. A single lightning-quick strike of its hidden weapon, and the nymph spears the tadpole. It will need all the protein it can get for the next stage of its life. When the time is right, the nymph leaves the water forever. For the lucky dragonfly nymphs that beat the odds and make it to metamorphosis, life will become even faster. The dragonfly is one of the fastest flying insects on Earth. With its 4 wings, it can fly at speeds of up to 56 kilometers an hour. With the ability to hover in midair and move and turn instantly, it puts any craft humans can create to shame. No other insect devotes as much of its body weight to muscles for flight. But sometimes, even these fast flyers must slow down and apply themselves to other matters. And preoccupied prey is an easy mark. The bullfrog's quick ambush and impressive acrobatics earn it a double-decker meal. What goes around, comes around. When we return to Built for the Kill, for nearly every predator with remarkable speed, there is a worthy challenger. Watch as the fastest predators on land square off against the fastest prey in the world. Meet a tiny pest whose sheer speed and acceleration outstrips anything humans can create. And encounter the unlikely Olympians of speed in a cold-blooded world where wings and fins mean nothing, but slithering, sliding, and striking do.
A species 20 million years old. armed with cutting-edge tools. The cause of 100,000 deaths a year. It has evolved over time to become the ultimate killing machine. Ultimate Vipers. Tomorrow at 10 on Nat Geo Wild.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could make last night's dream today's reality? With a Lloyds TSB loan, you could do exactly that, instantly. Not only do we have great rates, 6.4% APR typical for Premier account customers, but we can also make sure the money is in your account the very same day you apply. To find out about these great value loans, visit us in branch. Lloyds TSB, for the journey.
What would I like to see? I'd like to see an optician who has helped over 20 million eyes to see clearly.
I'd like to see an optician who takes the time to explain my eye exam.
I'd like to see an eye exam that can test my eyes 100 different ways.
Vision Express, celebrating 20 years of caring for the nation's eyes. Book your eye exam today at visionexpress.com. Vision Express, what would you like to see?
If you phone 2 insurance companies, you can compare 2 prices. If you fill in one form at comparethemarket.com, you can compare hundreds. In seconds. The choice is yours. For cheaper car insurance, comparethemarket.com.
When you've got a cold but you need a good night's sleep, try new Lemsip Max Strength day and night cold and flu relief capsules. Nighttime capsules relieve your symptoms to help allow sleep, so you can wake up refreshed without the groggy feeling and ready to go. And daytime capsules relieve your symptoms, which gives you a boost to be at your best. Lemsip Max Strength day and night capsules for round-the-clock relief.
I need new glasses, but how can I afford them?
Hey, just say.
How can I keep up with their dental checkups?
Hey, just say.
And what if his back treatment gets expensive?
Hey, just say.
To help pay for checkups, treatment and emergencies.
Hey, just say.
HSA. Health plans, simple, affordable.
They'd have our undivided attention morning, noon and night if they could. But sometimes they have to entertain themselves for a while. That's where Pedigree Jambone comes in. It's the tasty chew with a meaty centre that they can really get their teeth into.
There's milk, and there's Whiskas milk.
Speed is the rate of motion of a moving body. Simply how fast something goes. Acceleration is the rate at which a moving body increases its speed over time. The fastest humans on Earth can go from 0 to 40 kilometers per hour in under 4 seconds. An average car can go from 0 to over 100 kilometers per hour in around the same time. With the help of explosive technology, we have increased our ability to accelerate to even greater speeds. The space shuttle can go from 0 to over 400 kilometers per hour in the same 4 seconds. But when it comes to pure acceleration, all of our efforts pale in comparison to one tiny, blood-sucking beast. The flea. When the flea jumps, it accelerates more than 50 times faster than the space shuttle. Leaping 200 times its own body length, the same as a human jumping 300 meters, the flea bounds around in a relentless search for blood. And with the ability to withstand a force 200 times stronger than that of gravity, it's virtually indestructible. The flea is armed with specially designed back legs, that act like spring-loaded catapults, launching them through the air. A flea can jump hundreds of times an hour, bouncing arbitrarily until it finds a victim. Fleas are the fastest living accelerators in the universe. A hopping, biting beast, rocketing through the air with parasitic speed. Like many of its cousins, feeding on the blood of the living. But among the wild horizons of the acacia tree, in the tropical grasslands and forests of Africa, another unlikely killer uses a different kind of acceleration to pick off victims one by one. Short, stocky, funny looking. You'd never place the chameleon as a sublime predator. But these bizarre reptiles have a hidden talent, one that operates with instant acceleration and blinding speed. Death comes at the end of a long, sticky tongue. The chameleon's massive appendage is actually just a long muscle containing unique filaments that, when flexed, cause what scientists call a super contraction. When fired, the spring-loaded tongue stretches to 6 times its resting length, at speeds of more than 22 kilometers per hour, the fastest draw in the forest. A gentle rocking helps it determine the distance to the prey. Camouflaged in its surroundings, the chameleon searches with eyes that move independently of one another, allowing for nearly 360 degrees of vision. Its prehensile tail is bound tightly to a branch for leverage. When the tongue leaves the mouth, it's a long, round lump. But right before impact, the muscles contract, forming a suction cup with the tip of the tongue. The resulting suction is powerful enough to snare any prey that the sticky saliva alone could not. All the chameleon has to do now is reel in the meal. An unlikely killer, the chameleon and its talented tongue truly are built for the kill. But when it comes to speed in the strike, few things rival the strike of the snakes. And one of the fastest is the eyelash viper. This deadly snake is small by viper standards, but it has one of the fastest strikes of anything in the world. Armed with long, hypodermic needle-like teeth that fold back into its mouth, the viper delivers a toxic venom. Thermal heat pits in its face detect warmth. And keen vision helps the viper home in on its prey. At the mouth of a cave, a bat feasts on the fruit from its nightly forage. But it's being watched. Lurking in a nearby tree, an eyelash viper hangs by a strong prehensile tail, extending its body horizontally towards the prey. All the snake's energy is reserved for one instantaneous moment. This snake's strike is so fast, it's difficult to see. So fast that by the time the victim senses its hit, it's already too late. The eyelash viper must now swallow the prey whole. By dislocating its jawbone, the viper is able to maneuver the bat, almost twice the size of its own head, down its gullet. The quick strike of the viper is a deadly turn of speed. But another reptilian hunter stalks the wilds of Africa with a different kind of velocity. One of the only venomous snakes in the world to actively chase its prey. The black mamba. For centuries in African culture, stories were told of a winged mamba of frightening length haunting the high peaks. Today, the black mamba is equally feared, but not because of myth. It's feared because it's the largest venomous snake in Africa and is believed to be the fastest snake in the world. By flexing and releasing its dorsal and side scales, the mamba propels itself forward with S-shaped movements. At over 4 meters in length, the mamba hunts by day. Infamous for the distinctive black mouth that gives it its name, the mamba possesses a strong neurotoxin, delivered with the bite of 2 sharp fangs. A mere 2 drops of its venom can kill a man, attacking the nervous system and stopping the heart. At 24 kilometers an hour, the mamba can move as fast as a human can run. One of the fastest, most aggressive venomous snakes in the world, the black mamba is truly frightening. Designed for the hunt and built for the kill. While some reptiles slither and some strike, others simply run. Monitor lizards, basilisk lizards, and even crocodiles often belie their cold-blooded reputations as slow and lethargic, scurrying across the land with surprising speed. Because when life on land needs to get somewhere in a hurry, there is nothing faster than the run. Because running comes naturally, it seems like the simplest of things, but it's actually a bafflingly complicated bit of organic engineering. An intricate network of bones, muscles, ligaments and joints moving together in one fluid form. And nothing could run if it weren't for the joint. While muscles in the legs provide the power and feet create traction with the earth, propelling the body forward, joints allow an animal's bones to move independently of one another, giving the legs free range of movement and the ability to stride. And when it comes to speed, the magic number is 4. Almost all of the fastest creatures on Earth run on 4 legs, often with such velocity that their feet hardly even seem to touch the ground. All around the world, many of the fiercest land predators use running speed as their weapon of choice. A grizzly bear can run at 48 miles per hour, twice as fast as a human, and fast enough to catch and kill a young elk calf. The world's great canines are also armed with impressive speed. Wild dogs in the plains of the Okavango can reach speeds of 65 kilometers an hour. The greyhound, a domesticated relative of the wild canines bred for speed, can run more than 70 kilometers per hour. And the grey wolf, one of North America's most formidable predators, can hit 72 kilometers an hour in its stride. But evolution has a way of leveling the pitch. With so many fast predators out there, prey must also be fast. Like this impala, many hoofed victims have developed specialized gaits that warn the rest of their herd that trouble is near, giving them a better chance for survival. Life on land is governed by a perpetual foot race, continually driving both predators and prey alike to new and faster forms. The pronghorn antelope is the second fastest land animal in the world and unrivaled in the Western Hemisphere. Bounding 6 meters in a single stride, these tightly wound creatures can reach speeds of over 100 kilometers an hour. And pronghorn can go the distance, able to run for hours on end. Pronghorn are paranoid, always skittish, constantly on the lookout for dangerous characters in the neighborhood. And with good reason. At a plump, juicy 45 kilograms, they would seem the perfect feast for any predator. And any wolf would kill for a pronghorn supper. But these deer-like creatures aren't your ordinary prey. With keen eyesight, they can detect the slightest movement from more than 6 kilometers away. While they're normally vocal animals, using sound for a variety of social interactions, when in danger, they become silent. Simply raising the white hairs on their rumps alerts other pronghorns as far as 3 kilometers away that something is amiss. And in an instant, they're off. A wolf takes chase, hoping to weed out the weak or the young. But even at just a few hours old, pronghorns can reach speeds of 72 kilometers an hour. When the pronghorns are at the top of their game, the wolf is simply no match for the champion runner. Sometimes, even the mighty wolf is humbled. When we return, meet a predator who could outrun even the mighty pronghorn, if it didn't live half a world away. Race to keep up with the world's land speed record holder as it streaks across the plains with a single deadly goal. And watch as a mother's gruesome lesson helps her young prepare for the savage reality of life in the fast lane.
Sunday afternoons on Wild are not for the faint-hearted. This week we've dedicated 5 hours of incredible footage to the bad, the worse, and the very ugly of the animal kingdom. The Wild Bunch. This Sunday, we go to the extreme and uncover some real-life monsters. We find the biggest snake, some larger-than-life crocodiles, and even delve into the mystery of the world's biggest pig, Hogzilla. The Wild Bunch Extreme. Sunday from 1 p.m. on Nat Geo Wild.
My name is Isaac. I know that I'm a good dog, and I just want to find a loving home. When you buy any Pedigree product, we'll make a donation to help dogs like Isaac find loving homes. The Pedigree Adoption Drive, because every dog deserves a loving home.
TravelSupermarket.com compares the prices of thousands of holidays. So if you're looking for a cheap getaway for the family, or if you want to spoil yourself in the Caribbean, TravelSupermarket.com compares the market in seconds. Visit TravelSupermarket.com for holidays, travel insurance, car hire, flights, and more. TravelSupermarket.com, the price comparison site.
Dove Pro Age Body Cream Oil. Extra nourishment for very dry skin. Millions of UK women have bought Dove Pro Age. Have you? Beauty has no age limit.
In this week's Closer, Jordan reveals Pete's divorce ultimatum. Plus, Amy's dad on how the Osbournes are helping her battle drugs. Get celebrity, get real life, get closer.
7-year-old Gerson lives in a house built from stones, mud, and sticks. His desperate living conditions mean he has breathing problems, and his twin sister suffers from worms, which leave her malnourished. With World Vision, you can sponsor a child like Gerson for just 60p a day, but what you feel in return is priceless.
It's so little that I give, but it means such a huge amount to those people that have nothing.
What will you feel when you sponsor a child with World Vision? Call 0800 50 1010 now, or visit worldvision.org.uk.
Set free the devil inside. Devil May Cry 4.
Bears and wolves are formidable.